We continue from where we stopped. I introduced proportion the last time during the first part of volume 1 of mathematics, that we have direct and indirect proportion. How do you know that a question is on direct? Do not forget that when increase in one quantity is causing increase in the other quantity, then that is direct. Or when a quantity is decreasing and the other is also decreasing, it's direct. But when one is increasing and is causing the other to decrease, that is in opposite direction, it is indirect. Now, let's have a look at this question. A traveler takes 20 hours to do a journey traveling at 25 km per hour. How long will it take traveling at 24 km per hour? Simply put, the speed given here is 25 km per hour. And at that speed of 25, it takes 20 hours. If the speed is now decreased to 24 km per hour, you now ask yourself a question. Will the time spent increase or decrease? If you can answer that question, you have already solved the problem. Of course, the lesser speed will spend more time. So that means 24 km per hour will take more than 20 hours because 25 km per hour is for 20 hours. So let's see how we now go about it. So this is what we call indirect proportion, because decrease in the speed from 25 to 24 will lead to increase in time spent from 20 hours to a higher value, which we don't know yet. But that will guide you, since you have already had it in mind that your answer must be more than 20 hours. So let's go. Now, 25 km per hour takes 20 hours. The next thing is from 25 you go to 1. 1 km per hour. You now ask yourself, since 1 km per hour is less than 25 km per hour, will 1 km per hour take more time or less time? Of course, it will take what? More time. And more here means multiplication. Please take note of that, multiplication. So that means you will multiply these together to give you the hours for 1 km per hour. So that will now be 1 kilometer will be 25 times 20 hours, which if you do your calculation, that is 500 hours. Now, after 1 km per hour, you go now for 24 km per hour you have to find. You now ask yourself again, will 24 km per hour takes more time than 1 km per hour or less time? Of course, it will take less time. Why? The higher the speed, the lower the time spent. So since 1 has increased to 24 km per hour, then the time for 1 km per hour will what? Decrease. So, and decrease here means division. Please take note of that, division. Because whenever you divide a number, you are decreasing the value. But when you multiply a number, you are increasing the value. So since we know that 24 km per hour we take lesser time than 1 km per hour, so that means the word less there means division. So I'm going to use division. It will now be 25 times 20, which we have here for 1 km per hour, divided by 24. So let's do the calculation and see what we get. That's 20. Let me do the multiplication again. 25 times 20. 25 times 20 divided by 24. Yes, that's 20.83. 20.83 hours. Yeah. So if you look at this time, you can see it's more than what? 20 hours. The time spent when speed of 24 km per hour is used is this. It must be greater than the time spent when speed of 25 km per hour is used. It's like somebody is running, somebody is walking, and both of them are going to the same destination. Who will get there first? The one running. Why? Because it will spend a lesser time than the one walking. The one walking will take more, it will take him more time to get there than it takes the one running. So that's it. Let's have a look at another example. Example 2. All right. Let's have a look at this question. 3 men can complete a task in 8 days. How long will it take 4 men to complete same task? Now, 3 men work for 8 days to make the work done. If we now increase the number of men to 4, what do you expect? Will they spend more than 8 days or less than 8 days? They will spend less than 8 days. Why? Because the time it takes one person to complete a job, if you put 5 persons there, it will take them shorter time, as in lesser time than it takes one person. Why? Because the more labor you have, the less time spent on completing the job. So what type of person is this? Indirect also. All right, since we are looking for how long, which is days, I will put the days on the right. So 3 men, solution. It will take 3 men 8 days. All right. The next thing, please don't forget 1 man now. 1 man, you now ask yourself, if 1 person should do the same job that 3 men did for 8 days, will it take him more time or less time? Don't forget indirect proportion. Increase, decrease. Increase in one, decrease in the other. So since the number of men has decreased from 3 to 1, the number of days will increase from 8 to a higher number. And what will increase means multiplication here. So that means you use 3 to multiply it. 3 times 8 days, which will give you 24 days. So now, 4 men that we are asked to find now. You come from 1 again now. From 1 to 4, you have increased the number to 4. So when there is increase in number of labor, what happens to the number of days to complete the job? Will it increase or decrease? It will decrease, because you have more men to do the job now than 1 person. Do not forget, I am not comparing 4 to 3 now, because I'm on 1. I'm coming from 1 to, so it is step by step. From 3 to 1, then 1 to 4. So 4 will take less, and less means division. That means it will be what you have on the right already, divided by this 4. So if you do your calculation very well, that will be 6 days. Look at it. 4 men will take 6 days to complete the job, while 3 men took 8 days. You can see that the number of days has what? Has decreased. So that is indirect. Another example. All right. 25 pieces of block cost 1,500 naira. How much will 3 pieces cost? This is a case of, buying things. Somebody who wanted to buy 25 pieces of block, he paid 1,500 naira. If the number of blocks is now decreased to 3, do you expect him to pay more or less? It should be less. Why? Because the more items you buy, the more money you spend. So this is direct. Because decrease in the number of blocks from 25 to 3 will lead to decrease in the cost from 1,500 to a lesser amount, which we don't know yet. But this is a guide now. You have guided yourself that, okay, fine, it's going to be less than 1,500. So if you get any answer more than this, that means you are wrong somewhere. So let's go there and say, since I'm looking for cost, that I will place cost on the right, while I will place pieces of block on the left. So 25 pieces cost 1,500 naira. What do you do next? 1 piece. Please don't forget that. That's the step. With this step, you can't get it wrong. 1 piece of block, will 1 piece cost more than 1,500 or less? It will cost less. And less means division. That means you will use what is on the left to divide what is on the right. That will be 1,500 over 25 naira. But we are interested in 3 pieces. So I will now move from 1 to 3 pieces now. Then you compare again. The number of pieces of blocks has increased from 1 to 3. So what happens to the price? Will the price also increase or decrease? It will increase because we are dealing with direct now. The more pieces you buy, the more money you pay. That means more. Since the price will increase, or the cost rather will increase, increase means multiplication. So you will use these 3 to multiply what you have here already, which is 1,500 over 25. That's what I have. I'm bringing down from 1 piece. Then times this number. So let's do the arithmetic. 5 here. That's 60. That will be 60 times 3. That's 180 naira. Yeah. So you can see that 3 pieces of block cost 180 naira, which is less than 1,500 that 25 pieces cost. So that is all about proportion.